I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. This one's gonna hit home for me, so we'll see if I can make it through without crying. If you are like most of my clients, most of the women in my groups, in my circle, in my world, relationships have felt hard lately. There's been this sense of efforting the last few weeks. You used to be close. Remember back to when you first met. There was that spark, that feeling of home. For some of us listening, that home feeling might have been based on a trauma bond from a chaotic, emotionally unstable upbringing, but it felt like home nonetheless. Now you feel like there's miles between you. And if you don't, but you still feel like something's missing, I want you to examine. It's probably because you're superwomaning it. You're most likely doing, the efforting, the planning, the connecting, the jumping through hoops to create space for time for the two of you to have. It slaps you in the face when you realize, shit, I'm doing it. I'm overachieving, overgiving, people pleasing. Of course you are. So when was the last time he called you out of the blue, planned a date or a trip? Maybe he never even did when you were dating. Maybe the effort was always on you. And then there's those of you that are like, oh, my man does call and text. He is helping out, doing all the teammate things. But if the relationship feels flat, if it feels like there's something missing, that you're really good teammates, like you eat dinner together and talk about the same things, your day, the weather, your plans for the rest of the week, the kids, work, there's still something missing there, if we're honest. Maybe you coordinated schedules and had a weekend away and you spent the whole time fighting or not having sex. Or if you did, it was hard for you to stay present. So you find yourself questioning, is this relationship even right for me? Did I pick the wrong person? Are we going to keep having these same repeating issues? I don't know what else to read, do. Maybe I just have to put up with it. Maybe this is as good as it gets for me. Hell, I don't want a second marriage relationship to fail. Is it worth saving? And then we quickly cover it up by, I can't let this fail. I need to figure out how to fix it. So if your relationship went from connected to flat, dry, crusty, if there's something missing, then listen up. I'm going to tell you one big block that high-achieving, people-pleasing women have in relationship. It's one of the fundamental places that we go wrong in having the connected sex, love, intimacy, and passion that we desire. And yes, that means admitting that us are trying to be perfect and doing things right tendency that we have to admit, maybe we aren't quite doing this one right. So here's the truth. We suck at communicating our needs when we are scared that they will not be met. It's easier to do it ourselves. It's easier to make excuses and overfunction. It is easier to stay busy at work. It's easier to have time with friends than to actually sit and admit, holy crap, I'm the glue that holds this whole thing together. And I'm feeling a little resentful. I'm feeling a little unappreciated. I am exhausted, burnt out. I've got all this great stuff, so I should be happy, but something needs to change. So first, I want to get one thing clear. New relationship energy, NRE. There's a biological reason why we have that attraction in the beginning of our relationship. The neurochemicals, the hormone cascades, the dopamine, the norepinephrine, it's intoxicating. You can't get your mind off them. Used to wish that I could live in new relationship energy forever until I've been learning that that's a trauma response. I talk more about the science, the physiology of new relationship energy in my book, The Pink Canary. So if you want to learn more about that, check it out. But now, on my path of pleasure, my path of fulfillment, my path of wanting to be cherished and ravished and adored and safe, right? Because we've had those things. Maybe at the beginning of our relationship, or maybe in relationships that didn't work out. But what would it feel like to have the best of both worlds? The NRE and deep connection and intimacy that comes from building a partnership together. How do we get that? Who's teaching that? That has been it started, I mean, it's been a 10, 15-year journey for me now, but it started, how do we handle feminine burnout, and how do we stay having great sex? And really now, that's a question that I'm trying to answer and helping my clients answer. What would it feel like if your man started moving towards you again, started pursuing you, started making you feel desired, calling you just to say hi, picking up the slack around the house without being asked, planning some dates and vacations, initiating sex in a way that left you feeling so appreciated and desired? So first, I wanted to create that possibility for me, for you, for all of us, for humanity, because loving, connected, fulfilled relationships, I believe, makes for a healthy household, healthy children, and a healthy planet. So let's get super honest. Going from connected to disconnected, connected to crusty, didn't happen overnight. Going from attentive, sex frequently, to the same rotation of arguments, the silent treatment, the withdrawal, the feeling lonely and scared and pursuing. This took time. It was certain behaviors that built up. He was late. So you tell yourself if he loved you, he'd be on time. He's watching the game instead of helping you with a to-do list. Someone's pissed about buying the wrong brand of almond milk. So these things, they build up over time, and we don't deal with them properly. If we deal with them like a superwoman, it leaves us more disconnected. And that's what I want to get into today. So what does a superwoman do when she is faced with a problem? What do? We leap into action to fix it. Or some of us, when they really hit home and they're of the intimate nature, we ignore it, figuring it's best if we pick our battles. Who's heard that relationship advice? Pick your battles. Makes me want to puke, but I definitely did it for a lot of years. You're feeling each other out, walking on eggshells, pretending it's okay, burying your feelings and getting more and more resentful until you explode and something needs to be done. And it feels so uncomfortable and so bad that you absolutely need to solve it. So you decide it's time to talk about your feelings. You gather your thoughts, you gather examples. Maybe you even write them out. I've done this, and I'm also not knocking it. Journaling these things, working through them on your own, I think is definitely a great part of the process. But we're coming from a place of trying to understand where things are going wrong, usually where our partner is going wrong, and come up with a solution. And we think by discussing what is going wrong, having understanding on both sides. If we understand and they understand what's going on and how it makes us feel, then we're going to feel more seen and connected. Problem solved, peace restored. But what actually happens in reality? We get denial, we get withdrawal. Oh, I can never make you happy. We get blaming. Well, if you didn't X, then I wouldn't, whatever. You never, you always. Those kind of grandiose blaming statements. Words get twisted. Before you know it, you're fighting about a time the same thing happened 3 years ago. Or just your kitchen sink in it and you're fighting about everything that ever happened and whose mother did what. So someone withdraws, the other pursues. We have this gross push-pull dynamic and no one is fulfilled. You question even bringing it up in the first place. You feel lonely. You get busy. You do your numbing behavior of choice until the next fight. Connection is not actually restored. And it's interesting because, like, if we try and fix and pursue and we're met with that withdrawal, and then whether we pursue or withdrawal, it's just, yeah, that push-pull dynamic never feels good. And it baffles me because I work with women that can make millions of dollars, but can't figure out how to resolve conflict and stay connected in intimate partnership. And neither could I, neither can I. Sometimes I fall into these traps still knowing these things. It's way better. It's a lot less frequent, but it still happens. We have a massive blind spot here because what gets us success in the boardroom in business does not get us success in the bedroom and intimate relationship. In an attempt to communicate our needs to solve a problem and restore connection, we're often disconnecting things further. We're often making it worse. Silent treatments, crying alone watching Netflix, ignoring the problem and pretending you're fine, but feeling unsupported and resentful. We've been there. And I've even, not so much anymore because the woman that I work with is pretty evolved. She knows kind of where she's at, but I used to have these women that had all of the signs of feminine burnout, and listen to the series on feminine burnout on the Pleasure Principles podcast. If you haven't, exhausted, resentful, she feels like something's missing and she's not quite sure why. She feels like she should be happy and everything. Like she's got the things. She's got the things that she said she wanted and she's still not happy. And there's usually a lot of underlying things here, a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, a lot of feelings that she's not allowed herself to feel. So she's just dutifully doing all these things that are exhausting her, but yet her body is telling her that she's not happy and it's too much. So no wonder we are having less sexual encounters than ever as a society. There are more sexless marriages, more divorces. No shame, I am divorced. But let's be clear, this is not because you don't know how to communicate effectively. Most of you run companies, departments, families, save lives for a living, sell a lot of shit for a living, and you are good at it. You know how to communicate, but it goes wrong because a superwoman's focus is on the wrong thing when it comes to discussing issues in intimate partnership. At work, if there's a problem, we want to solve it. And generally, a linear masculine approach, logical, makes so much sense. When it comes to intimate partnership and what we desire and relationship roles, what we desire that we don't even know we desire yet, all of these things are so delicate. Our fears, our past wounding. So looking at that as a box to check, as a problem to solve, doesn't fix it. So what is our focus? What is our incorrect focus if we really look at it? Our incorrect focus is two things. Our focus is on fixing the problem. And second, we're coming based from fear. Fixing it so that we can stop feeling an uncomfortable feeling we are having, something that we're not supposed to feel. We're supposed to smile and shrink and achieve love by earning it and make everyone else around us happy, and then consider ourselves. Check the box so we can move on to the next task, the next item on the to-do list. No one has ever told us that it is okay for it to be uncomfortable. I'll tell you what to do instead in a minute. So this inner superwoman dialogue is, well, if I make him a list, if we use a shared calendar, if I ask for a weekly date night and he plans half of them, if we can decide which city to live in, if I can just get healthy, if we can just get through this quarter. And these are literally things that I hear from my clients and things that I've told myself. Thinking the weekly date night will solve it all, definitely fallen into that trap more than once. And it's never about the date night. It's about the deeper desire, the deeper unfulfilled desire. We're going to talk about that next week, next episode. So I can hear you asking, if I'm not supposed to fix this, what am I supposed to do? A few tips on what we need to do instead. And you're smart enough. I know you know that this is a deep issue. This is our conditioning as people identifying as women on this planet, people whose parents weren't emotionally available to them, people who didn't have healthy giving and receiving love modeled to them. So what we need to do instead is focus on connection, not the outcome, not fixing the problem. We can share, like, how can we share our feelings? How can we maintain connection throughout this process? If the focus is on connection instead of fixing the outcome, both people will feel seen, heard, and a hell of a lot better. Number 2, don't try and solve this in the moment. This is something, again, it's usually fear-based, where we want to come up with a solution and stop our gross feelings from coming up ever again. So we want to stop it. Instead, if we give things a space, say how we feel, focus on the connection and allow it to unfold without trying to solve it, a lot of the issues are going to fix themselves, or the real problem will surface. So we're going to let it be messy. Again, not something that Superwomen are good at doing. We're perfectionists. We like things in tidy little bows and nice rows. And that's not how life and relationship, and definitely not how deep, connected intimacy and sex is. It is messy. The 4th thing that you can do is come from the feminine. When we're doing that, we are coming from love, not fear. If these things sound foreign to you, if you're like, how the hell do I do this? And you want to dive deeper into feminine communication and navigating this hard stuff, I want you to join me in my community of amazing women. If we want to talk about the energy, the approach, coming from the feminine to stop having the same repeat arguments without losing our power, without feeling false or fake or trying to memorize some communication script that we saved from one of our favorite Instagram accounts. I want you to join me for a live 2-hour training, March 23rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. You're going to learn how to start shifting the communication in your relationship so you can stop having the same fight, so you can feel seen and supported. When we feel seen and supported, we can create deeper connection with your partner. I'm going to teach you some in the communication formulas, but it's more about the delivery. It's more about the how. It's not about using this rigid structure. I'm going to give you a handout of my key phrases that work when we get stuck and we don't know what to do. You're going to get a copy of my new workbook when it is released, and you're going to save endless money, time, tears on things that do not work. And this is only $47. I actually cannot believe that I'm doing a training for this cheap. There will be a replay, but if you attend live, we're going to workshop this stuff and promise it will be fun, and you're going to get so much out of it that you can start applying to communication in your intimate relationships that day. Visit thepleasurecollective.com/fundamentals, and we will link that in the show notes. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.